All right, I haven't had the opportunity to see most of you since we've been out, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to give a little introduction to our lesson today, and we'll see how things go here today. I hope these lessons haven't been too time consuming or too frustrating for you, and I hope that we are able to continue our progress as we're trying to learn here. I think if you're taking these seriously, that opportunity is there. Today we're going to be looking at materials extruded from volcanoes as they erupt, and look at what different things there are that come out, and how we might classify those into different groups. So I'd like you to make yourself comfortable and come along with me for this. Okay, so here we're going to be looking at the materials that are extruded during volcanic eruptions and see what types of things we could have. Probably the most obvious one is lava, right? When we think of volcanoes erupting, we think of lava coming out of them. And basaltic lavas are much more fluid than felsic lavas are, so they flow very well. Pohoihoi lava is one type that we see, and A'a lava is another type. As you see here, they say Pohoihoi is usually ropey and smooth, and A'a has very rough, jagged, sharp pieces on the outsides of them. I had learned that A'a literally means, in the Hawaiian language, a painful surface on which to walk. Okay. So I think it's true. So then here, let's take a look at what those might look like. Here's the A'a flow, and here's the Pohoihoi. You see that this one looks quite rough, and this one looks quite smooth, right? Another typical thing that you see for the Pohoihoi is it's flowing. It flows out and makes these shapes that are much like this. The outsides start to cool and the insides are still fluid, and so it kind of gets all wrinkled up like a bulldog there. All right, another thing we sometimes see are lava tubes. So here is a scientist who thinks that the roof of this part of the lava tube is not going to collapse, even though the piece next to him did. So this is a skylight where you can see inside. So this was a place where the lava on top got cool and hard. Inside, the lava was still runny and fluid because it was being insulated. It couldn't cool off as well. And so sometimes these lava tubes can take that lava for great distances and take it somewhere else. And even though it's quite far from the volcano, you still have the fresh lava coming out. So both of these are on land. Both of these are basaltic lavas. Hawaii would be a place that we would see these. Another common type of lava that we might see is pillow lava, where lava's coming up out of the sea floor. It's touching the water, and so it gets cooled off very quickly, and so it makes these little blobs that get too hard to expand more, and so it kind of gets pushed out of the way by the rest of the lava that's coming up, and so we get these piles of this. So at the mid-oceanic ridges, we would see lots of these pillow lavas, right? And other than lava, what else do we have? Well, lots of dissolved gases. I mean, here we say 1 to 6% of a magma by weight. So even though this is only 1 to 6% of a magma by weight, it can be thousands of tons of gases that are released each day by an erupting volcano. And so most of it's water vapor and carbon dioxide. There are other things that could be, other gases that could be components of it. Lots of times we think of sulfur dioxide because that's what stinks like rotten eggs. So that's what you notice when you're close to a volcano that is active. Okay, and then we have our pyroclastic materials. Pyroclastic, fire fragments. And so usually we think of these by how big they are. So we have the ash and dust that are very, very fine fragments. And then we have lapilli, walnut-sized material. We have cinders that are about pea-sized material. Blocks that are big pieces of cooled lava. And then we have bombs that are ejected as hot lava, and then they cool and solidify as they're in the air being tossed out by these volcanoes. And then also we have pumice and scoria, two types of rock that come out. Pumice from our felsic volcanoes, and scoria from the mafic ones. Okay, so let's take a look at what these might look like. Volcanic ash. If we were here together, I would show you some volcanic ash from Mount St. Helens that erupted in 1980. We have a jar of it in our classroom. So it's just very, very fine. If you shake it up, you can see how fine it is. Here's those lapilli and cinders mixed in with them. There's a quarter there, so you can see about what size these are. And a volcanic bomb, this is a typical shape that we might see where it gets thrown out by the volcano and it turns into this shape as it's going up in the air. All right. So those are a few things about the types of things that are being released from our volcanoes. So I hope that was helpful.